FBOS53 Radio show. This is the Danny and Chris show, and we're going to start this week by looking at some of the changes to scouting. I know we promised that a while back, and then we had a few weeks off the air, so we'll just do that real quick. Big changes to scouting this year is that the first attribute costs 15 points rather than, 5 last year. And I guess some of them, I don't know, QBs for me are 11. I guess that must be a coach's trait or something like that. But, I don't have any QBs scouted. But if we take a look
You bought coaching traits?
Yeah, I have 3 coaching traits, I think. I have the expert scouting, the O-line experience, and then the increased weekly goal experience.
Oh, look at you, Belichick.
Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of injuries, so I've had a lot of double XP games when I didn't want to bring players back from injuries. But anyway, so I'm taking a look at the left ends right now because I need defensive ends. And so just some tips for people. I normally, B- is my cutoff. If they have less than a B- for their first trait, I won't even look at the second trait. If they have C+ for the second trait, I won't even look at the third trait. That's just to save scouting points, because anybody who has C+s or below in any of their stuff, I'm not going to use anyways. And then, I run a hybrid defense, so I don't mind whether it's 4-3 or 3-4, but other people might. Yeah, so just, you got a lot less scouting points if you want to draft well. Make sure that you are only drafting people you'll need that fit your scheme, that fit your height requirements if you have that. I know some people only like receivers over 6 feet tall. Yeah, and then for things like corners, I don't have any corners drafted because the combine's not out yet. There's certain positions where, especially skill positions of the corners, the halfbacks, wide receivers, where, I won't scout that till the combine's out, because why waste scouting points that for a guy that runs a 4.7 40 yard. So anyways, that's scouting. And just so everyone knows, we're joined this week by the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Nish. Hello, Nish.
Go Bucks. How you doing today?
Good. We're glad to have our first guest with us. So,
Nice for Reed not to show up.
So,
well,
it's okay. Cowboys won't show up in the playoffs anyway.
I was gonna make the same joke. Oh man, it's funny.
Alright, so we made a couple slider changes because stats have been completely out of control. So if we just want to give people a look at those real quick. We've lowered QB accuracy to 45 from the default. Run blocking is down 10, fumbles are down 10, interceptions are down 5, and tackling is up 10. And then CPU have tackling up 10, pass coverage up 10, and defense reaction time up 10. These changes were made because we had, running stats were extremely out of control for the first, 6 or 7 weeks, and then the tuner hit and they were still higher than we wanted them. And then we have a ton of quarterbacks that are close to 70% accuracy or higher. So this is just a way that we try to keep the stats down a little bit. And it's fair for everybody. Everybody has to use the same settings. So yeah. Taking a look at the standings now, we have the Vikings, Bengals, and Seahawks all with only one loss. Vikings got their first loss this week to Washington.
Yep.
Either of you guys take a look at that game?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that one, but I did read all the messages from the back and forth.
Yeah.
I was definitely rooting for the Vikings.
You were
He's actually grown on me, you know? I
he
love it. He's like my shit talking, but he's actually good at Madden. So it's like, it's good. It's nice to see.
And then David got his first loss in overtime to me, which I was extremely lucky to pull out. A lot of turnovers that game. Raiders are still at 7-2, biggest turnaround by far. Any thoughts on Bills' turnaround from last season? No.
All pro. 2 words.
Okay.
All pro.
We'll just skip that. Titans started out 0-3 and are on a 7-game winning streak. How did you turn that around, Danny?
Lots of computer games.
Lots of computer games. Okay.
Yeah, no one's been showing up.
Out of the teams that we looked at last time, we were talking about the Jets, the Panthers, a couple other 2-0 teams that looked pretty good. Jets have fallen off a lot, but the Panthers are 6-3, so they look like they might at least get to the playoffs, which for a new user, that's good.
Cam Newton's still a bum.
All right. So some recent games. I actually watched the second half of the Vikings and Washington game, and I was completely surprised by the lack of picks thrown over the middle. I was expecting a lot more. This week we had my 4th overtime game of the season, 3 of which I won, but this one I managed to somehow beat the 49ers in overtime, who I completely thought were going to throw the game because they wanted that number 1 draft pick, but they didn't. What else do we got going on? Any good matches this week that you guys see?
Let me take a look at the schedule.
We got Nish is playing the Chiefs CPU team. You're playing your CPU games this year, right?
Yeah, but the Chiefs owner was supposed to play at 7 o'clock today, but he couldn't make it.
Oh.
And I won't be able to play until probably Friday, so he's going to play my CPU,
Oh, nice. All right.
unfortunately.
Oh, we got Nick and Bill. The surprising
That should be a
Raiders.
good one.
Yeah.
If Nick plays, I don't even know if he's been active.
Well, he's one of my 2 losses that he actually played. So.
Yeah, he'll play like half his games.
But yeah, I would expect that one to go into about the 100 points combined range. And then we have
Yeah, I'm interested to see Murray's numbers after the update. I wonder if he'll still be leading the league in everything rushing.
He actually isn't right now.
Yeah, Zeke's leading right now, I think.
Yep. Ezekiel
Whoa!
Elliott. Yeah.
But
That's why he was probably a bit upset with that slider change too.
And then the other good matchup we got this week is the Bears at the Giants. Chris versus Seth.
Yeah, the loser of that might be out of the playoffs.
Yeah, they're the 2 wild card teams right now, I think. With Frankie, who's another surprise. But
Frankie, I mean, if you pay attention to the bottom line, I'm sure you see something about Aaron McDonald. That dude is fucking ripping holes in offensive lines.
yeah.
We got like 20 sacks this year.
Yeah, I think he got like 6 versus me.
6 versus you. He had 5 against the Giants.
Yeah, he just like fucking wrecks people.
Yeah, we can go ahead and take a look at the league leaders real quick.
Probably not 6 versus me, but I'm gonna say it was.
And then
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Tom Brady this week passed Dan Marino for 4th on the all-time passing list. So I'm proud of him.
Oh Lord.
All right, so we got league leaders in passing. Brady is leading the league right now, and then Russell Wilson second, averaging a full 4 yards per attempt over the next highest guy. Almost 16 yards per passing attempt, which is that's way above the league average. Either of you guys play the Seahawks yet?
No, I haven't played the Seahawks.
Yeah, so I guess if you play the Seahawks, watch out for that deep ball because he's getting it and then he's completing 73% of his passes. So that's really good quarterback play. Stafford's dropped off a little bit, but he still has a game to play this week, so who knows?
Stafford should drop off like all the way to the bottom. He's a pretty shitty quarterback.
All right, so yeah, Zeke is leading by 60 yards, 50 yards right now, which is a nice change from Murray. On a lot less attempts.
Coughs up the ball a lot. 4 fumbles.
Oh, yep. Yeah, 4 fumbles. Well, it's just surprising. He wasn't a fumbler in college, but I guess not used to getting hit this hard. Average per attempt, that's let's take a look at that. Who's got some decent? DeMarco Murray is leading that for people with decent amounts of carry from our very own Titans. How are you getting so many yards per attempt, Danny?
He always breaks one.
Okay.
No matter what, he always breaks one every game. He always breaks one.
Yeah, him, Jeremy Hill, for who's that? Kelly. Matt Jones for Washington, which I can understand that because I saw that game and he had 3 or 4 60-yard ones. It looked like. I'm sure I'm exaggerating, but oh, Derek! Wow, you got quite a few.
Yeah, I just saw that. Holy shit!
Rushing.
Derek Henry, DeMarco. Goddamn.
So yeah, Elliott's averaging 145 yards a game. Wow. Latavius just under at 140. Hill at 133, and then a pretty big drop off after that. So yeah, it looks like those 3 will be in the running for the rushing title. And then touchdowns, yeah, those 3 too are way up there. So receiving, we got Gronk leading the league. I guess that's probably no surprise. Hopkins leading the league in average. But yeah, actually receiving numbers don't seem that bad compared to recent years, or at least not as out of control.
I just think it's spread out a bit more. People are spreading it out a bit more, not relying on their one player like previous seasons or the last cycle.
Yeah, I'm sure part of it too is that rushing is so much better for getting yards this year. So when people can get 10 yards a rush, they don't feel the need to pass all the time. So yeah, that's the stats. And then we have our commissioner asked us to pass along that everybody should have more self-control with their play calling. Try not to run something over and over and over that you know is going to get you a lot of yards because we are a sim league. Any thoughts on that?
Like, what about even the dragon routes and the crossing routes from last week? Yeah, he needs to look at himself in the mirror also.
Well, we'll
he's talking to other players.
Okay.
Just a word of advice.
Well, I think Danny, you play him next week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime he needs like that first down, watch out for like the drag or the cross. He loves that. That's like his new out route. He doesn't do the out route anymore.
No Atlanta double outs. My most hated play in his playbook from last year.
Nope. He does those drags and crosses now.
Okay. Well, there's our free scouting report for the week.
Yep.
Hopefully Seth listens to this before their game.
Yes. Two good games for Chris in a row. Alright, well, the awards are up now, the yearly awards, so we can take a look and see who's leading those. Yeah, Cowboys. Zeke we got a running back for the first, 4 places for MVP. Jeez, yeah. And 5 out of 6, actually, if you count Lewis down there. And then
he's a defensive player in the top 10. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, Donald will probably break the sacks record by quite a bit in the next few weeks. I would expect that.
Well, he's at 20, and Von Miller's in second with 10.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, yeah. He's running away with that. And then Coach of the Year, the Vikings are leading that right now, which is no surprise, I don't think. AFC, we got DeMarco Murray leading for Offensive Player of the Year. Another 4 running backs leading that category. Von Miller leading Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year is Henry, another running back. We're dominated by running backs this season. Yeah, nothing much. I don't think there's much surprises except for the reliance on running backs in awards right now. And then, yeah, NFC is about the same.
Well, there's the computer defensive rookie of the years from the Browns. Who's a computer?
Who's that? Ogba?
Emmanuel Ogba.
Yeah.
I can't believe a computer guy's up for an award. Wow. Defensive rookie of the year. NFC, is the AFC better than the NFC this year?
Oh, the AFC is far better than the NFC this year. The NFC has, 2 teams right now? It's really just the Vikings and the Seahawks, and then everybody else is falling off quite a bit.
Vikings are going to win it all. That's my pick. Vikings to the ship.
It's hard to pick against the Vikings right now. I mean, besides the lost AB, he's been pretty damn near perfect. But
AB has written the recipe to beat him. Just gotta watch some film.
Yeah, the way that people talk about him, I'm hoping I get the chance to play him this season, but that would have to be the Super Bowl, so maybe not.
I don't know, you might repeat that 6 interception performance from many seasons ago.
Yeah, well, I've been throwing a lot less deep balls, so hopefully I won't be doing that anymore. The one-on-one verticals aren't working as well for me this season, so... Alright, and then the last thing I think we wanted to talk about was the changes to the off-season. We're doing that now that it's going to be the Sunday after the Super Bowl. From the Super Bowl until 8 p.m. Will be the re-sign period. And then at 8 p.m. we'll start the beginning of free agency. Free agency 1 will last 25 minutes. Periods 2 and 3 will last 15 minutes each, and then the recap will be 5 minutes, and then the draft will start at 9 o'clock. So everything will be in one night. It should be easier to plan ahead for. So hopefully people will make it, and it should get the new season underway a lot quicker, less downtime between them, and just easier all around, I think. Alright, anything else you guys want to add before we finish up?
Nope. Thanks for having me.
Danny?
Looking around, nothing really. Maybe one trade that actually worked out.
Alright, what's that?
I don't think any. I think the one trade that was the best trade was done by you when you got John Brown from the Cardinals.
Yeah, that was big for me because I basically had a bunch of slot receivers, and yeah, that doesn't work for me. So I needed somebody to stretch the field a little bit because Edelman, 5'10", Amendola is short too, and they're both not very quick. They both only really work on the short routes, so it was nice to have somebody to complement Gronk a little bit more. Yeah, hopefully we could talk about a couple more trades now that the trade deadline has passed. And that's another change to the off season that I should probably mention. Since the trade deadline has passed, there will be no more trades until obviously the season is over. Any trade before the draft starts needs to be approved by the trade committee still, but if you want to make a trade during the draft with another user, not with the CPU, you can do that. If it starts getting unrealistic, we'll cut those off, so please don't take advantage of that, and I'm sure somebody will, and this will be the only season we do, but I'm hoping that they don't. So yeah, we'll talk about that more closer to the off season, because we're still in the middle of the first season. But anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you, Nish, for joining us. Pleasure having you on the show.
Yep, thanks for having me, man.
Alright, and we'll see you guys either next week or the week after. Good night.
All the Titans picks are.
Alright.